Prime Minister Joseph John Gute goes visiting the Shan 2020 accommodation centers in Yaoundé, appraising the quality of work done so far while encouraging contractors to hasten up with the finishing touches. The tagging of Cameroon's former international Achille Weber by a Turkish referee as Negro creates a stir amongst opponents of racism the world over, bringing into the fore the problematic of racism in football. Regional governors in Cameroon return to the drawing board to be reminded of the rules and governing the setting up of regional councils and assembly as the nation awaits the very first regional assemblies and councils. Those are our top stories. Hello and thanks for joining us on the 7:30 News. I am Ben Menopufong.
Each of us must comply with the measures that have been taken.
You're welcome once again. Prime Minister Joseph John Gute has described the ultra-modern Olembe Sports Complex in Yaoundé as an infrastructural bravura that will remain the pride of Cameroon and Africa even in the next 100 years. The PM was speaking after an inspection visit to the complex and the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium, expressing delight at the standard of the infrastructures whose annexes will serve as training grounds for Yaoundé-based teams of the 2020 African Cup of Nations that opens in 36 days. Despite the positive appreciation, the Prime Minister urged the contractors to speedily adjust some minor defects observed here and there to get the structures ready for their imminent placing at the disposal of the African Football Confederation. Christian Cheatam was with the PM.
The CAF inspection mission to Cameroon last October expressed satisfaction with the country's infrastructures, but also recommended an acceleration of the construction of access roads and the improvement of the pitches of the different training stadiums. The Prime Minister made the same recommendations 10 days ago when he chaired the 27th session of the committee tasked with preparing the Shan and the AFCON. This Thursday's inspection visit to the Olembe Sports Complex and the Omnisports Stadium was thus to personally gauge the level of compliance with CAF recommendations 36 days to the kickoff of the 6th edition of the African Football Championship. At the Olembe Sports Complex, Joseph John Gute inspected the 2 training stadiums as well as the main stadium. At the Omnisports Stadium, the Prime Minister visited the annex stadium, the Presidential Tribune, the Press Center, as well as the pitch and dressing rooms. During a closed-door walking session with main actors concerned with the infrastructures, the head of government enjoined them to work in synergy and ensure that all pending tasks are completed in time for the tournament. At the end of the visit, Joseph John Gute expressed satisfaction with the overall appearance of the sports facilities. He said the infrastructures are modern and sophisticated and can compare with any such structure anywhere in the world.
After the inspection tour, the Prime Minister expressed satisfaction with what he saw on the ground, inviting Cameroonians to be proud of these modern facilities being put at their disposal by the President of the Republic. Let's take a listen of Joseph John Gute.
I decided on the instructions of the head of state to visit this beautiful, wonderful infrastructure that the head of state has given to the Cameroonian people. It's been a pleasure to see all the wonderful improvements that have taken place. And I can assure Cameroonians that they should be proud of what we have achieved. It is true that we have a few details to complete. Some of them will be completed before the Shan competition begins. But I think every Cameroonian should be proud of what we have because this is comparable to what exists anywhere else in the world. All I'm asking Cameroonians now is to support this competition when it begins, to come to the stadiums as much as the numbers can permit, and to enjoy this wonderful infrastructure and to enable us, even within this dire period of COVID, to have a smile on our faces.
After being hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, hotel managers are looking up to the African Nations Championship as a golden opportunity that will bail them out of the morose business that the pandemic flung them in. Now that the Confederation of African Football has raised the number of persons per delegation from 30 to 40, coupled with the fact that only one player will be lodged per room, hoteliers are more than ever before hit up that their business will be on the boom once again. Yoti Kaleli Songa reports on how the hotel sector is bracing up for the glory days ahead.
A silver lining in the COVID-19 dark cloud, the African Nations Championship, CHAN, has got hoteliers anticipating huge profits.
CHAN is a very great opportunity for us. It's true that it will not solve all the losses we have sustained from the beginning of the year up to now, but still it brings people in the hotel for 1 month. The profit will be there.
Moreover, the players will each occupy a room this time around.
All rooms will be sold. This will enable us to make some good money during that time.
Aesthetics is key. Handymen are putting things in shape, and kilometers away, refurbishing is ongoing to provide the best comfort.
The room has been reshuffled, and we are also planning to paint all the hotel.
Security has also been beefed up.
We have video surveillance, police. We can set a tag at the door of the rooms that this room is COVID-free.
They remain on their marks, waiting for January, just before the whistle is blown for the CHAN kickoff.
And when football becomes a breeding ground for racism, nobody, especially not Achille Weber, can stand it. That's how there has been a massive outpour of indignation from Cameroon and abroad against the Turkish referee who disdainfully referred to the Cameroonian former international as Negro, a statement that embittered not only Achille Weber, but both his Turkish side and the visiting Paris Saint-Germain to stop the match in protest. Here is Baldwin Sama with a chronicle of a tale that smacks of racism.
The outcome seems happy as per this image. Nasser El-Welayifi, the president of Paris Saint-Germain, handing over a jersey signed by all his players and staff for Paris Saint-Germain, expressing their solidarity with Achille Weber, victim of acts of racism. By annulling the red card received by Achille Weber, reprogramming the match, and above all, the decision to change the fourth referee indicted. During last Tuesday's UEFA Champions League match that pitted Paris Saint-Germain against Başakşehir in Istanbul, the match was interrupted at the 14th minute of play when Achille Weber, deputy coach of Başakşehir, was red-carded for refusing to accept the referee's decision. Things went sour when the Cameroonian coach was referred to as a Negro by the fourth referee, the Roman Sébastien Kollescu. Achille Weber cried foul against racism, and in the same light, Senegalese-born Demba Ba and Kylian Mbappé, and finally, both teams decided not to continue playing. The president of Turkey, through a tweet, firmly condemned the racist statements. Demba Ba and Kylian Mbappé on Twitter did same. Supporters and players had hitherto been authors of acts of racism, but this time, referees are indicted.
On to other news now. All 10 regional governors of Cameroon converged on Yaoundé via video conference today to be briefed on the role they are expected to play in the holding of the first session as of right of regional councils and assemblies. The Centralization and Local Development Minister, Georges Langaubam, who convened the meeting, admonished the regional chief executives to stick to the law and nothing but the law. Ebenezer Akanga has details of today's encounter.
According to the law,
The regional councils and regional assemblies will hold their first sessions as of right on the second Tuesday following the proclamation of results of the elections. To go by the law, therefore, the first sessions as of right will hold on Tuesday, the 22nd of December 2020. The meeting that held by video conferencing between the Minister of Decentralization and Local Development and the 10 regional governors was to brief them on the supervisory role they have to play in the holding of the first sessions as of right.
The law is very precise about the roles that the governor is playing, the role that the president of the Regional Council is playing. I just want to trust those who are going to be elected. I want to trust the governors that they all know what is the role of each of them, and that everybody will remain in his corridor and do the work that is expected.
Presentations were made edifying the governors on the advisory role they have to play as representatives of the state. Above all, they were called upon to ensure strict respect of legality.
Some 14 automated toll stations will soon be erected on some major highways in the country. The foundation stone for the multi-billion project was laid today in Kamer on the outskirts of Yaoundé by Public Works Minister Emmanuel Nganu Jumesi. Joyce Kimbi Fowajo reports that the project is a build, operate and transfer agreement that will be managed by the Tollcam partner for 18 years before ceding it to the Cameroon government. Joyce?
Historic concrete laying in Bankomo, marking the kicker of the construction of 14 automated toll stations, replacing the present manual and archaic on some tarred roads in Cameroon.
The private partners has brought the financing. He has brought more than 34 billion and 742 millions for the construction of this infrastructure. It's the decision of the heads of state. I believe we will move further, and we will continue to accompany others, investors who may decide to come in order to recycle their money in our economy.
The model presented by Tollcam, the private partnership in charge of its conception, construction and exploitation, is captivating. It's programmed to be completed in 14 months.
We will do our best, more than our best, to make it in time.
This modernization of toll boats project is on 4 major road axes, notably Yaoundé-Douala-Limbe, Yaoundé-Bafoussam-Bamenda, Douala-Bafoussam, and access into the Simalen International Airport.
Cameroon's minister in charge of SMEs has saluted the contribution of enterprise incubation structures to Cameroon's entrepreneurial ecosystem. Achille Basilican III was speaking in Yaoundé as he opened the National Congress on Enterprise Incubation in Cameroon. He enjoined small and medium-sized structures to be very keen on how incubation structures can help set up resilient small and medium-sized businesses in the country. Details with Mukwele Prince Wiladuma.
Experts say the resilience of Cameroon's economy can be read on the lines of small and medium-sized enterprises.
A good idea. If you are not a good idea, you cannot have a good project.
Against this backdrop, the National Congress on Business Incubation emphasizes the need for a model.
We need to define a model of incubation that is clearly in line with the development concerns and priority of our country.
A common platform for the ministers of employment and that of post and telecommunications to foster partnership in the culture of entrepreneurship.
The academia and civil society, boosting small and medium-sized enterprises, boosting startups, and equipping incubators.
Success stories told by business developers demonstrate the readiness by the private sector to complement government's endeavor in the business development.
Thanks for watching the news on the Cameroon Radio Television, the CRTV, as we beam live from Yaoundé. The general debate for the adoption of the Finance Bill of Cameroon for 2021 at the Senate takes place at the Yaoundé Conference Center this night. It will be an occasion for senators who are not members of the Finance and Budget Committee to put questions to the entire government bench. Ahead of the general debate, Senate correspondent Charles Anyangwe comes back on some of the ministers who defended their budgetary allocations before the members of the Finance Committee earlier today.
Are amongst the priorities of the Ministry of Youth Affairs for 2021.
Intensify the national campaign for civic education and national integration through the deployment of our mass mobile animation teams, the community mediators, and so on.
For the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing, improving housing development and urban environment will take center stage next year.
Address the modernization of our cities. We complete all the projects who will address CAN 2022.
The Minister of Social Affairs, Pauline Irene, followed by the Secretary of State in the Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife, Kamsulu Mabubuka, as well as the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Gabriel Bairobe, all appeared before the Esumbachungi Committee with lofty programs that will be implemented in 2021. For his part, Transport Minister said improving the safety and the security of the different modes of transport will be amongst his priorities. The other ministers who appeared before the Esumbachungi Committee include the Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Nalova Liyonga, and the Minister of Water and Energy, Gaston Elundu Esumba, whose respective roadmaps for 2021 were approved by the Finance and Budget Committee of the Senate. Focus now is on the general debate that comes up this night at the Yaoundé Conference Center.
Parliamentary networks at the National Assembly are wrapping up their activities for the 10th legislative period with a series of plenaries organized to raise awareness on insurance policies and health and nutrition health. The lawmakers in separate sittings sought ways to ensure that the country's economic growth is sustained through insurance promotion, nutrition programs, and support to small and medium-sized enterprises. Esther Kmer has a roundup of today's activities at the lawmaking institution.
The political will to see women's rights respected in Cameroon cannot be undermined, as dozens of international conventions have been ratified. Yet, discriminations against women persist, which Deputy Speaker Honorable Emilia Monjowa-Lefaka indicates must come to a halt with gender mainstreaming valorized at all levels.
Women are a very important arm in the society. We are also talking about the laws such that us, as lawmakers, we can look into it and see reason why not revise it.
President of the Female Parliamentary Network, Honorable Kwafege, insists women ought to be informed of their rights and empowered for their survival.
There's a lot of tolerance for violence. You see girls and women being disinherited. You see widows being maltreated at the demise of their husbands.
With the support of the International Federation of Women's Lawyers and the He for She program, the legislators can be actively involved in the protection and preservation of the rights of women and the girl child.
On a similar note, members of the Parliamentary Network for the Diasporal, Decentralized and Cross-Border Cooperation are pursuing their advocacy to reconcile the state with the diaspora. The Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Motaze, yesterday granted an audience to the members of the network as they sought to know the measures put in place by the government to consolidate the bond between the diaspora and the nation. Rita Makang has the details of their encounter with the minister.
The advocacy tour of the Parliamentary Network for the Diaspora, Decentralized and Cross-Border Cooperation lands this time in the Ministry of Finance. Principal objective, submit the cry of Cameroonians living in the diaspora in the attempt to invest in their homeland, but with lots of difficulties.
The finance law of this year, running through 2021, there's a lot for Cameroonians, and we are saying that trying to see how we can disseminate information that our brothers and sisters out there should know the opportunities that we have in Cameroon.
At each stop, the problem of smooth communication on government's drive to promote the diaspora is raised, a hitch that Minister Louis-Paul Motaze promised will be looked into in the days ahead.
the wearing of face masks in public places will be mandatory until further notice.
As Cameroonians get ready to celebrate the end-of-year feasts, health experts are calling on them to strictly respect barrier measures against COVID-19, given that the virus easily spreads at gatherings. Reducing the number of persons tested positive for the virus remains the main objective of the government of the country. Let's now join Baldwin Sama at the Public Health Emergency Center for updates on this issue. Hello, Baldwin.
Good evening to you, Ben Menopofong, and welcome. According to health professionals, these are sensitive moments in the life of the country. Sensitive in the sense that during this end of year way for different gatherings, the coronavirus will easily spread, and it will not be surprising to notice that there will be, or there may be, an increase in the number of persons tested positive for the coronavirus during this end of year feast. And during the traditional press briefing this evening, they used the opportunity to talk about some countries that have so far embraced the second wave of the pandemic, with other countries that will possibly embrace a third wave of the coronavirus pandemic. Fortunately for us, we are not yet there, and they have talked about some clusters of persons who are living with the virus detected in the littoral and the west regions of the country, and some other minor clusters that have equally been detected in other parts of Cameroon. And they explained to us that if we have some active cases, persons living with the virus in Cameroon, it is simply because more and more Cameroonians have stopped respecting most of these outlined barrier measures against the coronavirus. And given that we are in the month of December, they are discouraging Cameroonians from promoting more of these gatherings that will permit the virus to easily spread. And some of these gatherings, such as markets, nightclubs, even in churches, they are discouraging Cameroonians from finding themselves in places where there is no respect of physical distancing, with the key message being that the coronavirus is still very much present among us. We should simply continue respecting barrier measures. Back to you, Ben Menopofo.
Thank you very much, Baldwin. All of that was good to know. Timber exploiters in the country have opened reflections in Yaoundé on how to conserve the forest while respecting the laws regulating the sector. Their discussions are also exploring ways of gathering information and data related to timber and forest exploitation in the country. One of the participants at the meeting, Achille Djabgu, now explains how important the exchange is to them.
Today, with requirement for environmental protection and conservation of forests, the timber market is becoming more and more stricter in terms of the determination of the origin, the practices that companies are implementing on the ground before these woods arrive at the market level. The Open Timber Portal is actually coming to provide shed some light on the operators to show who are the best operators, and then with this ranking platform that we are putting in place, other operators that are weak in terms of law implementation will be drawn forward.
Two imposters who were passing around as the permanent secretary of the higher
Achille and Jean-Jacques, two prison graduates, are suspected fraudster middlemen who called and extorted money from about 10 magistrates and some directors general on the eve of the Higher Judicial Council meeting, passing for the permanent secretary of the council, Abel Minko. Informed about the impostors using his name, the permanent secretary filed a complaint to the Delegate General for National Security, Martin Balgangele, who activated his investigation bureau.
we received the phone number from the person who has been contacted by the suspect, and we started our investigation and we localized the suspect in the town of Douala, and we went there and we arrested them.
For reasons of privacy, the victims have not turned up to say how much they lost to the suspects, who were caught with 500,000 CFA francs.
When you are contacted by the person or the number you did not know, it's better to inform the police, and the police will do the rest.
Prudence is the watchword during the current end-of-year festive season.
An agreement to stop respecting the Monday ghost town operations in the town. At a meeting between the traders and the Bamenda City Council officials, the city mayor, Paul Achobang Tambeng, reassured the traders that the council has worked out a plan to ensure their security and safety. From Bamenda, Eric Langmiawufo reports.
City Council officials and traders of its main market reflecting on the plan to give the town a facelift. The ghost town phenomenon has brought untold hardship on the lives of many here, and many have agreed here to stop it in order to rebuild Bamenda. They have reached an agreement to end the ghost towns by opening the markets every Mondays as from 2021. The Bamenda City Council will oversee the success of the process.
I'm the city mayor. I'm there to protect them. I'm there to guarantee an atmosphere which is conducive for them to work. I intend to encourage them to come out, and on behalf of them, city mayor, I'm there to protect them. I'm there to guarantee an atmosphere which is conducive for them to work. I intend to encourage them to come out, and on behalf of them, I intend to find a way to usher those who are timid to come out.
They intend to work with civil servants also in 2021 by asking them to go to work every Mondays.
The MTN car gift caravan has touched the city of Douala, where smiles were put on the faces of several loyal clients who won cars and other gifts in the MTN Anniversary Bazaar. The ceremony took place at the popular neighborhood of Bepanda, where the population came out to witness the roadside event. Veronica Benyela is in Douala.
Two brand new Suzuki Expresso throned in the middle of Axolu Bepanda and was a curiosity and dream of many onlookers. The two lucky winners were hailed to the ceremonial grounds in princely style. Mr. Ngasa Gerald Paul lives in Mabanda Douala and drives a taxi. Thanks to MTN Cameroon, he is now the proud owner of a brand new car. He could not stop smiling. Mr. Samba Elvis Ngweje from Boya has come from being a shoemaker to an MTN brand ambassador. To him, all that is surreal, and a small purchase of a call credit has changed his life hugely.
Thanks to MTN, I will forever remain loyal to MTN because it's a miracle. So many people don't believe in what happened, but for now, I don't know how I'm going to explain myself when I get to Boya, or like people watching me on the screen right now.
The Director General of MTN Cameroon heartily congratulated the two winners for being faithful to MTN. Nothing is better than giving back. Reasons for the 20-on-20 reward jamboree.
We've got more than 10 million customers who put their faith and trust in MTN. And MTN is the network of the people. It's a network born in Africa, for African people, for Cameroon. And we're very proud to be that. So we're giving back. And often people see these things, they say, oh, they're real. They're real.
For those looking on with admiration, MTN Cameroon says chances are up for any client who subscribes a bundle as from 250 francs or a Momo transaction of 5,000 francs. Though everyone has their eyes on the Suzuki Expresso, there are other gifts. Several persons received 20,000 francs cash rewards that is won every 20 minutes. The biggest reward would be the 20 million francs win on February 17, 2021.
That's the 7:30 news for today and for the week. Let's do it all over again on Monday. Bye-bye.
In this connection, we should avoid stigmatizing